by. Every year we'll come together to honor and celebrate your life. Share and tell our stories about the sweet by and by. Every year we'll come together to honor and celebrate your life. Share and tell our stories about the sweet by and by.
Putting it together. We shoot some raw footage right here in southern San Bernardino, California. Yeah, we from another part of Cali. You heard I? That's where we from. Trig, T-R-I-G, true ruthless, intelligent gangsters.
We are family. Family, family.
One God, one world, and one principle. Treat others like you want to be treated. Ain't that sensible, conventional? Thinking gets you caught up, believing that you're better than this man. Cause of the way you was brought up, nah, it's all good from the squares to the weed heads. We all eat and sleep, we all bleed red, we all gotta live. So we pursue cheddar, spinning on this ball, we all in this together. That's true, man, uniting is all that's left to do, man. There's only one race, and that's the human, we family. Men, women, and children, it's time to cut this foolishness and get our act together.
We are family.
I love my peoples and my peoples love me.
I got all my people with me.
Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up.
We are family.
I love my peoples and my peoples love me.
Represent T-R-I-G.
Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up.
Set up choppy West Coast riders with siders, through go like miners, 13-7s gliders, and Cali's cleanest no riders. They line of money providers, and bombing skills on the track. Help the G back on the street, so me get my serve on the stack. Now y'all know why I put this capital Y in LA, and the NPRE, a G for the west of the SP. Go quick as Nestle, wanna test me, let's see who's cold as Gretzky. I spit the flesh on your neck, just like the Red Sea. You best be bulletproof bladed, I stated deadly, I'm rated. We hate it if you ain't related, you get spaded. It's simple and plain as family pain when I maintain strain or bring pain. Devils can't hang when I sing this thing, I'ma split your brain, that's okay. You can't explain millennium mashing, I get the cash and we do it smashing. Never clashing when head bashing, the tightest fashion. We in G, my Trig brothers and me, the family Trig, we family.
We are family.
I love my peoples and my peoples love me.
I got all my people with me.
Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up.
We are family.
I love my peoples and my peoples love me.
Represent T-R-I-G.
Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up. If I'm on deck, get right with much respect and clout. That's what I'm talking about without a doubt. Check it out. Loving this musical culture, man, forever. Strong enough to bring fools that bang opposite gangs together. Volleying weather, rip of blood Hennessy and Wub. I'm choking smoke that'll make you cough up your guts. Hotties and bodies want somebody up on the bud. If you bone, let it be known, Lord, keep your mouth shut. T-R-I-G representative, sent to give my poetical outlook on life, make 'em and live. Regardless, believing I'm the hardest, cause I ain't feeling what to be so-called rap artists. I love to make crowds jump like a pump fake. Dancing in they boogie on females, making they bump shake, pump breaks. If you don't understand me, better find a dandy or broke, doing bad, we all family.
We are family. We are, I got all my people with me. Family, family. We are family. We are represent T-R-I-G. Family,
Once I
family.
release, it's right back to the grind for my lower disease. I promise to get your demand. I see it shine every time I look at my diamonds running through my platinum jewel. Well, I succeed, I'm feeling this living hell on the time. So tell, I should prevail and excel. Once I'm free back and I eat my pockets swell. The platinum just thinking about getting money. Now I'm deep on my music, I make my rather method cause the triple D. I take the D that they're gonna do, things I'm doing, do you feel me? Tell it not, cause you're not I orientated, demonstrated hatred for years since I made it. Now I'm paper headed, it's related to the fact that I've been feared of every sense of the century. Eventually I come up with a music operation I can run for the next century.
We are family.
I love my peoples and my peoples love me.
I got all my people with me.
Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up.
We are family.
I love my peoples and my peoples love me.
Represent T-R-I-G.
Hit 'em up, hit 'em up, hit 'em up.
One night, one night. From principle, ain't that sensible, sensible. We are one night, one night.
Do you rap? Do you sing? Are you in a band? Do you just need a place with top-of-the-line equipment to prove that you're the best at what you do? Do you like to party with beautiful women, make good music, and have safe fun? If so, then get off the couch, stop procrastinating, watching television, letting time pass you by, telling yourself, I'll go to the studio next week, next month. No, do it right now. Call and book a session and change your life. Show people why you're the best at what you do, why you deserve to be getting awards, and why you deserve the crown.
Southern boy, certified.
My name's Churchill Ikendor. I'm in the 10th grade and I play point guard. In the colleges that pique my interest, I only got one right now. I'm gonna explore my options later. But I'm really messing with the Golden Bears and Cal State. That's one college that I've been wanting to go to.
Hey world, it's your girls, Lachey and Tasha, and we're the owners of Transform Her Salon and Beauty Bar. We're located downtown Rialto at 144 North Riverside Avenue. One thing we love to do is give back to our community. The holidays are coming and we are looking to transform one amazing mom on the go that never have time for herself. If that's you or someone you know, tag yourself in the comments below or direct message Transform Her Salon and Beauty Bar. If you're ready for your transformation, then come through.
Okay, it's all about survival. Don't need a Glock, my only weapon is the Bible. Trying to provide you with something else to ride to. Get lied to, yeah, bounce, rock, slide to. Can you feel the Holy Spirit deep inside you? Touch your heart, how many times God tried to? How that saying go, you reap what you sow. Not using the needle and thread, nah, I'm mic in the flow. So on your mark, just say, y'all, let's go. The enemy started to fight when I'm throwing the first blow. Talking the talk and walking the walk. Tired of seeing young brothers lying to chalk. We here to serve God, that's what I thought. No matter the price, my soul can never be bought. Love all wouldn't treat you like I never knew you. Sending up the highest praise, yeah, hallelujah.
Some hip-hop artist, father, entrepreneur. I want y'all to tune into my show Saturday night, Sunday morning. Just gonna get into, you know, the behind the scenes of a gospel artist having to deal in the secular industry, the things I go through. Promise it's gonna be interesting. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody trying to be friends with their kids. Man, you gotta be a parent. Yeah. I wish I would be my friend's kid. Man, speaking of kids though, you already know what I gotta do, man.
Yeah. Much love, bro. Appreciate you coming through, man. Saturday night, Sunday morning, we coming, man. Give me your word. Like Joshua 1:9, you ain't gotta spend your life ducking one time. This crunch time, living the last days. Be strong and of courage, be not afraid of what the world say. Only here for a while. Grown men gotta give up ways of a child. Running with the crowd, stand on your own too. Being a father to his children, what a man do. Go ahead and stand, boo. It's alright to give him praise. Worship God, what happened, you might be amazed. Expect nothing less than treatment worthy of a queen. Lift up your voice, Luke 13:17. Mercy will be given, we all make mistakes, but he keep us anyway, that's what you call grace. He ain't at all fake, no knockoff. Give me your word that'll knock the devil top off. Give me your word that'll reach him, one that'll help.
Just love, just love. Just love, just love.
I'm Bernard Cooper from the Fitness and Fitness Recovery Program, and we're here today at St. Andrews Park, the park in which I was born and raised in, and grew up in, and we're here today to provide mental health resources.
Oh, yeah. Mama, I made it. I could have been locked up, I could have been turned down, but I found my own way. I ain't gonna stop now, cause mama, I made it. And I hope I make you proud. Mama said stay humble, mama said stay true. Mama said boy, keep that drama far away from you. Mama told me keep working, busting up to the future. Mama told me she lost one and she ain't trying to lose.
Hey now, my name is Jasmine Smith. I'm out here marketing my brand called Beautifully Scarred. My brand is based on what happened to me in 2016, which November 22nd, 2016. I got ran over by SUV. Yes, I lost my life twice, but I got revived by the grace of God. Thank the Most High. But it was a very tragic situation. I had to learn how to walk and talk all over again. I have scars on my body and scars in my heart that people cannot see. And I'm here to help people, to be an advocate for others that has disabilities, and especially women that feels ugly on the inside or the outside, to let you guys know that we're beautiful people, no matter what happened. My story is very real. I told you I have scars, I have disabilities and everything. But one thing, my story may be sensitive, but it is a powerful message. Just love, just love. Just love, just love. Just love, just love. Just love, just love. Just love, just love.
Look, it ain't about the falling, it's the getting up. No matter what you facing, ain't no giving up. No giving up, ain't no giving up. Cause it ain't about the falling, it's the getting up. It ain't about the falling, it's the getting up. No matter what you facing, ain't no giving up. No giving up, ain't no giving up. Cause it ain't about the falling, it's the getting up. We all make mistakes, that's a part of life. Cold game, sometimes we make them twice. Time to lift our voice, no more whispering. What a Christ said, forget it, they ain't listening. Without struggle, you can't appreciate the reward. Trying to touch the hearts of millions, that's why I record.
It's never too late to change. I'm your CEO, Yusuf Wiley.
Day 3, we gathering together at the Hallelujah Temple Christian Family Church to have a good time in the Lord. Come on and come on. Take the 7-day journey. We promise you'll have a ball. Showing love for 7 days of Juneteenth. We gon' celebrate. We not gon' hesitate. Showing love for 7 days of Juneteenth. 6 days leading up.
He didn't bring us this far for nothing.
Fun food.
Hey, welcome back again to another Talon at 10. What's going on?
Man, it's drama already. People just be really trying it, man. I woke up like, this is gonna be another day. So let me start with, where's Pastor Rob?
I don't know. Maybe he had problems getting on, but he did.
Yeah, that link. Because the link, I was on it. I was on right after I talked to you. But I used something with. Yeah, it's the link.
Oh, okay.
Because when you sent me the new link, it was.
Okay.
The old one, it just says you're backstage, but it's just blank. Yeah, so that's why after a while I was like, okay, wait, let me get him and be like, is we live? Okay. Anyways, okay, well, hello world, happy Friday. Here we go. Today I learned a very valuable lesson.
Okay.
I learned a very valuable lesson. I am so rejoiced in the fact that I learned a very valuable lesson about me today. Okay. So let's start with my yesterday. Yesterday period, I had a perfect day.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, like perfect. Like everything that I wanted to go the way that I needed it to go, it was in perfect alignment yesterday. And I've had a lot of perfect days. And people should be mindful of those days because, my brother said something. He's so wise when he does want to be, right? He said, remember these moments. Well, I had gotten this huge grant and it was so tedious. I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck? For no reason, it seemed like, right? And so when I got through the process, I, of course, humbly, I was crying because I was just really wanted to be present in that moment and be appreciative because I earned it, right? Mm-hmm. And he was just like, be mindful of this moment because you're going to need it in those times when, it ain't as pretty as it feels right now, right? And so he probably doesn't know. I'll let him know, but I really took that to heart, and it really changed my perspective. So, on to my today.
Okay.
All you need to know is perfect days exist and count them. Right. They're so beautiful, right? For last night and yesterday, the whole day was perfect from beginning to end. Okay, now, this morning, so I wake up and one of my sis from Dallas, I haven't heard from in years at this point, just randomly hit me up, just like, hey, how are you doing, blah, blah, blah. But I'm who I am. So I knew if I was put in her spirit to talk to, something is up. And one thing that most people know about me, who actually dealt with me, is the privacy part, right? And so I knew that if she was reaching out, she needed to be loved on pretty much. She needed some encouragement. So I played my part, despite, the fact that, the how we're connected, me and her don't really talk anymore. It's no beef there. I just haven't felt the need to talk. And since I send back the same energy, since I feel like you are sending me energy, like the only time that you really want to kick it is when I'm paying for it. I don't pay for friends. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just more like, yeah, I don't pay for friends. So I decided that, no, I if after a 10-year period, a decade of knowing each other we've known each other more than a decade, but after a decade, I think that's enough time for you to gauge, what type of relationship you need to be conducting yourself with this person, right? So talk to her, getting her in good spirits, like, helping her to see sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side, right?
Okay.
She has all these kids, and from 18 from an 18-year-old to a brand new baby, and she's still doing it by herself. And I'm like, okay, well, you're looking at it and she's like, it's so hard, it's all on me, and if they just leave and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to take some accountability too, though. And I said because I want her to understand, like, the grass is not always green on the side, but it doesn't matter as long as you're figuring out how to deal with this. So she was talking about how, she's just been kind of in and out of these, just kind of depressed, pretty much is what she described, and just, feeling overwhelmed, and just all these different, signs of like being overwhelmed. So I tell her, I go, well, I really don't want you to be overwhelmed. I want you to be encouraged, because the babies actually are a blessing. The men are going to be who they are, and we have to take accountability for making the decisions that we made with the men. The same way that you have a gang of kids is the same reason why I don't have them, because of my selection in the men that I've chosen to have those encounters with. None of them did I want to share life with. At the end of the day, like, none of them I wanted to share. None of them do I regret, in the sense of like, oh, we should have had a baby together, and we should know I don't want to just procreate with nobody. And I'm happy that I haven't just procreated with anybody, because that is so near and dear and so special to me, like the creation of life. Like, that's so dope. So I was telling her, like, from my perspective, how I feel like my approach has had to be on the other side. If she didn't have kids, right? If she didn't, all the different things that societies will tell you was the perfect way of doing different things, or a good way of doing different things, right? People live their lives in regrets, because they feel like, oh, if I didn't have this, or if I didn't do that, then I would be here. The reality is that we all have our own stories and testimonies for a reason. So, she was talking about, feeling all alone and blah, 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 and, not having these men here, and, just pretty much tired of being strong all the time. And as a Black woman, if no other race of people understand what that looks like, it is definitely Black women all across the African diaspora, for sure. So I tell her, I really want you to focus on the fact that your babies are a blessing, because the reality is that they're what keeps you going. For a person like me who doesn't have those type of responsibilities, you know what I mean? I have to keep myself motivated. I have to keep myself. I have to self-motivate from the sense of making my long-term goals my purpose, and being okay with living a purpose-filled life in regards to the projects and success I'm having in my endeavors. Let me say it like that, right? So I was telling her, like, while right now you're like, oh, I have these kids, I keep doing it. I'm like, they give you a reason to live. They give you a reason to want to have a better life. So now the only thing you're missing is the purpose. What is it that you want to do? What does the future look like for you? What is something long-term that you can be consistent with? You know what I mean? Because whether you have a man in your life or not does not dictate at all the quality of the well-being that a person can offer their children. We know that. We know that by facts, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so that was the first conversation, just to be able to help her understand, like, you know, your life is the life that was dealt to you. And for whatever reason, you made the decisions that you made. You can't blame it on these niggas. So, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm tired of that part. Us as women, we do got to take responsibility in regards to like that. And I told her that. I'm like, no matter what, at this point, like, you looked and you seen and you was like, I'm still with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like there was some type of signs that we got. We just chose to ignore them. So I was telling her, like, nah, take accountability and then be like, for whatever reason, this is the life that I lived. And then let's focus on what you want outside of the money, outside of, you know, all of this monetary success. Like, what is it that you really want? So anyways, I was interrupted in that message and encouraging her with getting this phone call this morning on somebody trying to do some shady shit.
Ooh.
Some shady shit to the point where now I gotta hop on my fucking plane and be like, what is going on? Like, because I am that one, right? Now, here's the thing. My first thing, I got so fucking angry. Oh my God. Do you understand? So fucking angry, friend. And I was like, okay, I get why I had a perfect day yesterday because, okay.
And today is not so perfect.
But is it though? It is. Still, right? And it that's why perfection is in the eyes of the beholder for a reason, right? Because for me, that is the beautiful part that I learned today about myself.
Okay.
That the growth that I seen. Because I got immediately, of course, as anybody would with this situation. It's as foul as it comes. Somebody's trying to fucking steal from you. Somebody's trying to fucking disrespect you and do something fucking crazy for no reason. Just because they feel like I have never met this person that I'm dealing with. And it's very important that you know who you go in business with. No matter the age, no matter, like, really take heed to what other people say too about that person. Because a lot of times, you know, in our naivete and wanting to be good people and do good, we be on some old, oh, they not gonna do that to me. They ain't gonna have no reason to do that to me. They don't need a reason.
Yeah.
Why just do foul shit, just be like on some bullshit, right? Yeah. So the call fucking enraged me, but then the way that my creators fucking love on me, y'all. Oh my God. The way that my creators love on me, though, you get what I'm saying? Like the way that the favor that I have, you know, because of the person that I am, because of the good energy that I genuinely put out there, despite people's shit every single time. I could say every single time. This is what they mean, the Christians mean when they say when guys show up right on time, right? Every single time, unbeknownst to me, it'd be the most random shit in the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? That be like, oh my God. I have so much favor. So I get on the phone with this person. They like, something just didn't, the lady telling me something just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
She was like, so I had to call. And I had to keep calling because I don't usually even get into shit. And she was like, it just didn't make no sense. Something just didn't feel right. So I was like, yeah, because, you know, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. She was like, I was like, so what's up? You know what I mean? She's like, at this point, you know, what do you want to have happen? I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to, as soon as I get off the fucking phone, I'm going to fucking fly out there. I'm going to fucking press charges, and I'll just probably come through and get a statement from y'all so that we can make sure that, you know, everything is documented or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I got off the phone, and immediately I was getting ready to go off my rocker, right? And call this scum of an individual and oh my God, what the compound of the bullshit that I have been accepting, just in that instance, just enrages me, right? But the first thing I thought to do was to call one of my elders, who I call Pops lovingly, and talk to him about it. That was the first thing my instinct said, was like, call Pops. So I call Pops. I'm telling him about the situation. I'm like, I'm at the ledge. I'm about to fucking jump all down and up and on this motherfucker. So I need to know. I need to know the long-term goal again. I need to remember. So what are we doing? Because I'm right now. I don't
remember willpower and want power is what we covered yesterday.
Right. That's why I'm giving my testimony. Okay. So let me tell you about the willpower. The willpower in this situation was, I didn't first go off of my urges to just be angry and pop off. Right? That's usually my thing. Pop off, ask questions later. Right? Yeah. Because as a Taurus too, I'm like, once I feel some type of way, I feel some type of way. Once I see red, once I know you coming for me and defense needs to be on, I'm execution style. You get what I'm saying? So I have been very patient with this person because of the business arrangement long term that I know is a benefit. Whether that person sees it or not doesn't matter. I've already done everything I was supposed to do. If I don't do shit else, I'm already doing what I'm doing. But to want to steal from me or to want to take from me and disrespect and do shit like that, just because you feel some type of way that I've been unbothered, so you're trying to figure out ways to stir me up. So then I had to realize, bitch, that's what you're going for. You want me to pop off. You want me, because that's how we got here in the first place, is that you pushed me to the limit and you didn't know I'm with the shits, right? So unfortunately, fucked around and found out. So now we're at the space of, but I ain't that person no more. And you have to understand that anger is being mad that someone disappointed you, right? And I'm not taking that energy from myself and being angry at someone else's disappointment. I'm not going to give them the allowability to engage with my energy in that type of way, period. That's where my boundaries came in, specifically from this situation. And then sometimes it's important for you to be still, because I don't have to do shit.
Exactly.
And I didn't understand even the favor in that is that, I haven't had to do anything about the situation because, I could flex my power. This goes into our whole week conversation. Now I'm thinking about it, because I could go to being a boss and having my motherfucking power and making power moves, right? But I'm compassionate, right, about my decision making. And so I'm trying to make sure that this is not from a prideful perspective. This is good decision making because for the long-term goal, I know it's productive for the whole, which is the leadership in me. Like, I understand why you're even tested and why it's just amazing how people can be annoyed by your favor, can be annoyed at the shit that you do awesomely, naturally, can be annoyed at the good you do for them. How are you mad that I did something kind for you? But if they don't continue to have full control over that, power over you, and they have that will power and that want for power difference comes in. Oh, God. This want for power and you trying to flex your power. Why? When I've already, in my silence, I've already showed you that I am not the one to be fucked with, and I'm not going to let you fuck with my energy. I'm not going to let you control this storyline. So why pop off and then tell a person what I'm finna do? No, I'm finna just make moves. I'm lining up everything as I was already, but I haven't been back because I felt like there's so much disappointment back where there, and I coming home was an escape for me. I needed to come home because shit was just getting too crazy where I was, and I knew that something was up, and that's when I was like, okay, creators, I don't know what the F is going on, but I need you to show me with clarity. And I was told to come home and run for mayor. I was told, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll make sure everything good and situated. You need to go home and fulfill what I need you to do. And so yesterday, I got all kind of good news on that. You know what I'm saying? So it's and I could allow for this moment and how this person is trying to interject their negativity into my life to take control and change the energy of the day. That when I woke up early as fuck this morning, you know, being a blessing to person and allowing a person to be a blessing to me. Sometimes people will try to interject that negativity, but you have the conscious decision to decide if you want to allow them, you know, that space to be able to affect you like that. I just was like, no, I'm not going to let her affect me like that. I'm not going to let him affect me. I'm just going to move forward and doing what I need to do, line up the shit and coming up with resolution. Here's the thing about me, though. I'm so obedient to my creators. So obedient to God, you know? So I am literally like a horse. Like, I have to be guided and know where I'm going. And so here's the thing where you don't move. Sometimes you just, when I feel like God then told me to be still, despite what it looked like, that's the faith that I got. That's why it's faith plus hustle equals success. And I got to trust the decisions that I make. I got to trust my grind and the shit that I get myself involved in. And sometimes it does require, that trust requires for me to be still. And then when it's time for you to execute, you'll get that. All right, it's time to do something, that action word, right? Put that energy out there and do something with it. But I don't move until I feel empowered to do so. You know?
So is that the lesson you learned? The lesson you learned was to be still?
The lesson that I learned is to not let people change the energy, not let people change the overall goal, long-term goal. That's the message. The message is, don't let anybody distract you from the long-term goal. That's where success is. When you can get through moments of people trying to disrupt what you got going, however they try to. When you have to stand tall, you have to stand firm in knowing what your long-term purposeful goal is. If you know that and you stand on that with conviction every single time, you're going to be protected in how you roll, and the things that you desire for yourself will manifest the way that they're supposed to, but definitely in your best interest, you know? So yeah, don't let people affect the overall longevity of what you're supposed to do. That part, don't give people that type of energy. Today I learned about myself, like, nah, because any other time I would have let this whole situation control my energy. I'm an overthinker, so I would have been all in my thoughts, which would have had me all in my feelings, because now I'm like, wow, the utter audacity and gall of people. Like, you know, I would have got into that whole theatrics. I would have been trying to understand why and made this whole thing a part of the day that I'm having. After this conversation, outside of aligning and doing everything that I want to make sure I do while, you know, I'm handling the business and getting resolution, today is still a great day because this was an open-ended issue that I have been waiting to find clarity with. And I know the long-term goal. And so now it's forcing me to have to say, what is it that I want? Which was the same message that I was given to my girl this morning. What is it that you really want? Because the universe can only work on what you want. right? And it sounds easier than what we really think of it. At the end of the day, when you have all that you need and all that you want, still the decision has to be made of what you really want. And whatever you're depositing, whatever you're planting right now, those seeds, the nurturing is the time and the water. You know what I'm saying? That's the energy that you putting into what you're doing, which is going to manifest into something, grow into something at some point. I want to make sure that the seeds that I'm planting allow for me to feel like I'm prosperous, or that I can enjoy the fruits of my labor, right? And I can't allow for other people and their energy to dictate that. I have to stay steadfast on what I'm supposed to do, period, and trust my grind, trust the movement that I'm making, and not be distracted, you know?
That's right. Well, we got our first comment.
Oh, yeah? Hi. What does it say? What does he say?
What is the difference between legacy and purpose? Which one do you enact first?
The purpose comes first. Definitely purpose comes first, right? Because you got to know what you're doing and where you're going so that you can lead a legacy, so that you can grow a legacy. Legacy is based on what comes after you, right? Okay. And so it's what are you building? The building part is the doing phase. That's when and then the done part is the legacy. Now that you've done something, now that you've orchestrated something, grown something, what is going to be the continuance of that? What does the sustainability look like? What does the longevity look like? You know, that's legacy. It comes with it. So the first thing that has to be implemented is a purpose. And we see that in the Black culture today, with wanting to have legacies. Yeah, because there's lots of men out here who have a bloodline, you know, have seeds running around here. But because they weren't following their purpose, you know, when they were procreating, now where does the legacy stand? Right? Because there was no purpose in how they were moving. They just was doing what they felt like they wanted to do and enjoying the fruits of Mother Earth. Let's just say that, right? And so it's about what you birth. It's about what you grow, and it's about how you nurture it. And so the purpose has to come first. You got to know what you're doing. You gotta have some type of thought process of where you're going. If you don't, then legacy is not even an issue, because it'll just run them up, and then the bloodline at some point gets canceled out because it'll either kill itself, facts, or it'll just discontinue, right, over a long-term spans. I'm sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely purpose first, then what's to follow, which is the legacy. That would be my answer.
Yeah, because it's like, if you think about, let's just take Dr. King's legacy. You know, we all know what Dr. King's purpose was because of the stuff that he's done. But now his legacy, it seems like more other people is carrying on his legacy and not his children.
Yep.
It seems like the world is, the people are more conscious of what his legacy is, and still like celebrating his days, building monuments, you know, just trying to keep it alive the best that we can as people that's not of his bloodline. But then, like, you know, what is his children and his grandchildren doing to further the legacy?
They got some cool shit going on. Oh, okay. I can appreciate both. The son is actually Bounce TV. Bounce TV is the Martin Luther King's son. Okay. He has a large investment in Bounce TV. And Bernice, his daughter, she's actually very much so an advocate in the Georgia area. And is very big on making sure that the legacy of her father is not exploited. So yeah, shout outs to his legacy, because his kids are making sure that they stand on business and that they're doing something with it. So I can definitely appreciate the fact that, yeah, we're doing something, but they also are making sure that they're helping to preserve the dream that he said that he had.
All right, we have a part 2 to his to his comment. Can you read that?
If purpose is
utilized first.
If purpose is utilized first, is this from a
empirical standpoint or from osmosis or a form of osmosis?
You're gonna have to make that plain for me. I understand the fancy words and all, but let's have a real conversation, because real people who are not going to understand that word, either one of them. And so learn us something, right, today, or I'm sorry, seeing as though you're wanting to be a scholar. Educate us properly today with what does that even mean? Can you put that into simple terms for us regular people? We'll give them a second.
Okay, yeah, I seen those words and was like, oh yeah, we ain't even gonna try to read this one.
I mean, even I can't see it to read it, but I guess it's just too small on based on how my screen is, so that I can make sure it stays charged. So I can't see it from, it's so small.
Yeah.
But I mean, even and you did a great job with your pronunciation of them. But I think he said something back.
Yeah, I think this is it. Is it tested by observation or repetitive actions?
Well, I think that is enough for the people to understand, for sure. I like the way he broke that down. I was curious as to how he was going to simplify that. My personal opinion, right? Everybody is different. Is I think it's both. And I guess I'm trying to also match up the context of the original question too, because you said that I thought the first question was, is it
What's
legacy?
the difference between legacy, and purpose?
And purpose, right? What's the difference, right?
Which one?
I thought it was which one came first or something.
Yeah,
like
which
that.
one to enact first? Which one to take action?
To enact. Oh, to enact first. Okay, that's good. And then now you are asking for us to give.
If purpose is utilized first,
yes, as it has to be.
Is it tested by observation or repetitive action?
That is such a good question. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Xavier Allen.
If purpose comes first,
is it tested
by observation
or repetitive action? We're gonna have to.
This is such a blessing, because this is what I was kind of telling my girl this morning, differently, but the same. So I think I want to give like a real ass answer and then kind of a technical answer. Do you mind?
Yeah, do you? This is what we got our own platform for.
Okay. So, because purpose, for me, when you say observation, my thought would go to the vision, being a visionary, right? Because my purpose, that's how it's told to me, right? That's how it's communicated to me. It's through vision, right? It's and that vision is not just this magical thought in my head. It can be just things that I'm observing throughout my day. It could be in numbers. It can be in some of the things that I see on TV. It could be some of the things that I've been encountered with, that I've been exposed to, those type of things, right? And so because of that, I could, even as when you think about it as a young child, you think about purpose being based on observation, based on what you've seen, based on what you've been exposed to, right? And so a lot of times that's why people can confuse what they're repetitively doing with their purpose, because you've seen it be done so many times through observation, right? That you believe that this is the way that it should be done in a lot of cases, right? But that's not necessarily
not thinking outside the box.
Yeah, it's not even just not thinking outside of the box. It's just not a true perspective to really have. That comes from wisdom. We can say that because just because it's being done repetitively doesn't mean that consistency is beneficial or productive for you. It's like I tell my staff all the time, just because you're doing something don't mean that you're being productive. I mean, I'd rather you not do shit. Enjoy your kids, kick it, go fucking enjoy your Friday, get your self-care. I don't give a fuck. Everybody got their money on time. You know what I mean? Go do your thing. I would rather you do that than with the time that I'm paying you for, just be doing something to say, hey, I did something. I'm not that type of leader. I'm not that type of boss. You get what I'm saying? But people can observe my get down, watch my get down. So I typically don't have a lot of those issues. Not with people who stay with me long term, right? Because they've watched how I repetitively do things. And so they catch on. They either catch on or they get off the ride. They just is what it is, right? So I would say, like, I think people first are taught by what they see, what they observe. Observation, I think, plays the most important role because as physical creatures, the first thing that we want to believe is what we see. We are not taught that the first thing we should be looking for is how it made us feel. That emotional intelligence, because that emotional intelligence is tied into intuitiveness. It is that balance of, giving you the scale of, this is probably not for you, or yeah, this is perfect for you, right? And I think that then what you see on a regular is what you end up doing repetitively. You know what I mean? Because it's the cycle. That's how it's supposed to work. I show it to you. When you look at marketing, that's one of the biggest things in marketing is showing it repetitively over and over and over again so that people without a doubt can start to recognize either the brand or recognize the slogan or be familiar with that individual who's hosting it. But these are things that have been taught to us based on observation, right? And things that we have now structured for ourselves because we feel like because we've seen it so many times, we can trust the brand. Because we've seen it so many times, we can do business, in that way, or go be with that person. It's even like when you look at relationships, a lot of times because repetitively you have observed abusive situations, and this is like a lot of abused women, and you can contest to this, because repetitively, consistently, they have seen over and over again abuse in their life. They in some aspect normalize that because they've been exposed to it for so long, right? And so, yeah, to sum that whole thing up, I would definitely say observation would be one of the first things, especially when it comes to purpose, is being able to see it, be shown it. I think that's where I would think that you're going with observation, because I am big on vocabulary words. Shout out to Beverly Jones Wright, the Virgo, my mama, who made us read the dictionary when we was kids before we could do anything else. If the lady didn't do nothing else, education was super important, and history. So Yeah, observation would be my first thing when it comes to your purpose. And then the next thing would be that people, they gauge it on then seeing it done, observing it being done over and over repetitively.
You got a part 3 to it.
A part 3. Okay. I love the engagement and I love intellectual conversation. That's yummy.
With that, will one be more inclined to entertain a negative stimulus or a conscious resolution?
I think that definitely just depends on the person. That's,
Okay.
I mean, just in what I just answered, observation is based on perspective. Perspective is based on life experiences, right? Everybody's walk has been different. Everybody's been shown different things, observed different things, and all of that comes into their psyche and the way that they think. My dad used to always say, some people got to go to college because some people got to be taught how to think.
How to think, yeah.
You know? And so for me, I think the first thing, okay, I'm gonna move it toward me so I can say that. With that, are we inclined to be entertained? Are we inclined to entertain a negative
stimulus?
I think the negative stimulus, the stimulus part is really throwing me off. Here's why. Because the stimulus is something that then is, when I think of stimulus off the top of my head, I think of a benefit, upping something, stimulating, almost like. So when you say a negative stimulus, I don't correlate those two together in what you asked. Are we inclined to entertain a negative stimulus? Here's why.
I think what he probably is saying is like say, because I think everything is kind of connected. So, all right. So if you're the first question was, what's first, legacy or purpose? And then you said purpose. So now with the purpose, okay, is that learned through observation or repetitive? What was repetitive something? So Baldy, you said it's like observation, it's like kind of like both. It's like observation first and then repetitively doing something. So now he's saying with that, is one to be more inclined or more inclined to entertain a negative stimulus or a conscious solution, meaning that like the people around you or the person that realizes that he has the purpose, he or she has the purpose, and it's learned through observation, are they gonna be inclined to entertain negative reinforcement, or are they gonna be able to like listen to more conscious people like, oh, I want to run for president and I'm a black man. Nigga, ain't nobody, you can't run for president. You can't be president. If I feel like that's my purpose, am I more inclined to entertain a person speaking negative on me or a person saying, okay, if you want to run for president, these are the steps you have to take.
Okay. Like, I love the analogies that you get too, right? And, but I think, again, that depends on, that's why I guess for me, it was like, why only are they more inclined to be negative or conscious resolutions is like real drastic difference to me, right? Because I'm like, I'm always the first one to think about where is the good option that we have, right? Resolution to me, I'm a person who's never about the problem, it's always about the solution, right? So like resolution to me comes in different forms, right? Just like what you've been exposed to, what you've observed has been different. So if I have been exposed to something repetitively, because like you said, all this is tied in, right? We would hope all of this is tied in. If I'm exposed on a regular to something that then now seeing it over and over dictates what my purpose is, that then leads to what my legacy is going to be. Am I more inclined to negatively be stimulated from that, or am I going to then focus on some type of conscious resolution? Is crazy work, yo. Let me say that. Like, so I want to make
it's
sure,
like your parents, like your parents, like some black parents uses. Because I didn't learn about positive reinforcement until I went to college.
But that's what I'm saying. That's your experience.
Yeah, until I went to college, all I heard was negative reinforcement, meaning that you ain't gonna be shit, just like your daddy, you ain't gonna be shit. Know what I'm saying? So now it's like I know that my mom don't really mean for me to not be shit. I know that she's saying that for me to actually be shit. Know what I'm saying? But you have to, that's just in their days. That's just how that's just what they use to motivate people.
Yikes. Okay. Now I want it. His name is Xavier. I want you to understand that I completely understand what you're asking. I just always am thinking about making sure that the normal, average, everyday individual who's watching us, I want to make sure that I've thought, because I am a conscious thinker. So I want to make sure that I'm really addressing it from a realistic perspective, like, and giving a authentic answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that. I want to give. I've been trying to figure out how to give a great example or analogy. But okay, so let's go to Black people, because I love taking it to Black people, because I love my Black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's take it as if we were talking about lineage, right? And let's start it at the purpose conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on the stimulus period, right? Okay, so here we are at purpose. Hello, your purpose is the blah blah blah, to be a stolen people and to go over to this other world across the oceans in the West and to then endure some shit so that you can then enjoy the fruits of your labor more than 400 years later. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. Let's just stay there, right? So now, just in what I said, talked about the purpose and talked about the legacy, if you paid attention already, mm-hmm. Right? So now here we are. We've been exposed to all kind of shit. We done observed all kind of shit, right? And then once we got to that observation, we decided that we were going to do something about it. Something. We weren't going to be docile. We were going to do something about that, right? So repetitively, we've seen, what's the greatest word that I could use? Repetitively, we've seen negative shit. Let's just use his words. Repetitively, we've seen negative shit, right? Mm-hmm. And they've tried in every way to make sure that any of the good things that we even feel like we can appreciate, they in some ways try to whitewash it or demonize it, right? Right? Mm-hmm. On the outside, societies, right? Okay. So then us being exposed to that as a culture and all of the trauma that we've gone through, all of the adversity, I love that word, the adversity that we've gone, we have decided that then we were going to do what as a resolution? What was the conscious decision? Like that we decided we're going to do as a culture? Yeah, are we more inclined to now decide that we want the negative shit? Oh, well, a lot of people, it depends on who you're asking, because a lot of people would say that, yes, based on where our culture is right now, because of everything that we observed throughout our lineage, we are now at the space where we're choosing to engage more in and be entertained with the negative stimulus versus us deciding that we are going to make any conscious resolution. We're just going to be in the wind and just go where it takes us, right? That's where our culture looks like right now, genuinely. But if you asked another individual who's in dire situations or even other cultures, you know, on what their perspective is, you might find some that have seen the better side of us. All the Black people, it's like taking a white person who has been raised in an all Black community, right? He's seen all different types of shit and strife and things of that nature, right? But the culture that he got exposed to, or that she got exposed to, you know, was especially with, and I'm speaking solely from white individuals whose world I've been in, because I'm trying to think about, let me scratch all that. Let me go directly to myself. I think this is even better, and I can bring it full circle with our culture. For me, in our culture, I was raised in the same San Bernardino community as most. I got exposure to the same different types of shit, right? I observed the slanging and I observed the banging. You hear what I'm saying, right? And everything in between that comes with living in a community. I could have chose to be only mindful of the negative things that I got to observe, or I could make a conscious decision to want to have resolution that looked different than what I had consistently observed, right? My observation told me that I wanted better and I want more. And that's just like so many people in our culture who grow up in these hoods and then they get balling and they move out of the hoods because they've been exposed to so much negative shit that now they're in a space where they don't want to be around any of the shit that they consistently seen that was negative, that they want to be able to be better than that. And they want to make a conscious decision to do better than that and to want more for themselves, which I think kind of resonates with your story and what you were saying and how there is a culture and a part of our culture and time when the motivation was you ain't going to be shit. Right? And trying to psych you out, you know, but a lot of times, you know, and I can speak personally, like for my dad, a lot of times, yeah, it motivated him, but at the same time, it broke up the lineage and the legacy because him and his father stopped talking to the day he died because of the shit that he would say to him. You get what I'm saying? Even now, when I talk to my dad and he gets on that level, I'll be like, man, that shit happened like, my dude, you're like 70. You know what I'm saying? Like that happened when you were young and you have lived more of your life being successful than not. You get what I'm saying? So if him being exposed to that and having the trauma of that doesn't necessarily mean that he got resolution and not conscious resolution. Yeah, he was better than what his father was. Yeah, he didn't put himself in the hood. He don't live, you know, the way that he feels like his a portion of his childhood, because he was really raised on a farm first and then they moved to the city life, right? So there's so much different things in our culture as Black people that we've been exposed to, like going back to myself. And by the time my dad got us, my dad was on, we had debutantes, my brother and my sisters and us, we did botillions, we did debutantes, we did beauty pageants, we did all of that shit, right? In the midst of being amongst the hood activity, we still got exposure to other things. And I was more inclined, my siblings were more inclined to focus on the great shit that we had been exposed to versus be in situations where we knew long-term they were going to serve no greater good for us. So resolution is relative, is like, simply put, it's relative because consciousness is all about the thought and the experiences that you had. And so a lot of people haven't even met their conscience, if we're going to be honest, haven't even had real conversations with their conscience to know what real resolution looks like. And then it's resolution is such a it's a beautiful word, right? And it makes you feel so powerful. But resolution is relative to the perspective that it's coming from. I will say lastly that I don't think that we're inclined first and foremost to adapt to the negativity. I don't. But I definitely think that people, I would say that the chick that I talked to today, she would probably think, she would probably answer it, well, yeah, we're inclined to, because of what we've observed and been exposed to repetitively, we're more inclined to keep doing it. But I think that because not even God intervenes with the freedom of choice, and we have the full responsibility of making good decisions, I think then it becomes like what you see doesn't dictate what you're going to do. You have a choice.
Yeah, you have a choice, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If I could like simply put it, you have a choice. And whatever choice you make, that is, you're going to have to be comfortable with the resolution that might come with. You know what I mean? And the resolution doesn't always mean that it's in your benefit. Resolution just means that it's completed. If we look up the word resolution, it's resolved. That's where it comes from, right? And so, everybody's different. Every situation is different. Bringing that full circle to our community, it comes back to our community specifically because as a culture, I think we have decided consciously that we want to look at the negative more and entertain the negative more than the positive, but we're making a conscious decision to do so. It's not something that, because we've seen it repetitively, that's the reason why. No, we're choosing it for all different reasons. But no matter what, at the end of the day, it's still being what we choose as a culture to do, despite what our ancestors have shown us, despite the adversity, despite the fact that we've been resilient, despite the fact that we're in the position that we are in to do whatever we want to do to move forward. We have the collective amount of swag, of money, everything that we need. The only reason why we as a culture have not evolved and found real resolution is because we haven't decided what that real resolution looks like for the collectiveness.
Yeah, so Mr. Magnificent Cuisine.
Magnificent Cuisine.
Let me let you in over here. All right, maybe that one's better. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Which one can you see?
I'm going to turn one of them off.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hold on.
Yeah, we
That
can hear
better?
you. Yeah.
That better?
Yeah, can you hear it and see us?
Yeah. What's up, Talon?
What it do, homie?
Welcome to Talon at 10.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in. I did like some of the conversation. I'll be moving a little fast, Talon. I do got a meeting I need to go to in a minute, so I gotta, make those proper preparations. So quickly, being able to text inside your StreamYard, it is some form of being impersonal because you have to tailor small amounts of conversation. People don't want to really read a whole chapter or something.
Exactly.
I can
They don't want to read at all.
So, walking through the process, where I was actually getting at is in relation to our culture when it comes to purpose and legacy. The negative stimulus is something that is projected and perpetuated as a positive response. We can go right to the years of drug dealing. To destroy our community, people were assuming they were more happier than we were actually coming out decades later. because of the flash and the glory that is provided by that particular world. So the reason I pose that question against one another is because our purpose is something that we only look as emergencies. We look at our monthly expenditures as emergencies, and most of the time, those are the things that are most relevant and higher on our list of priorities because we have to deal with them first. So we don't have the luxury as other ethnic backgrounds to enlist a goal of identifying a legacy and a purpose that is beyond 5-10 years. We're just now doing that in the more recent time. Once the crack era kicked in, we looked at the immediate forms of gratification. That's all we enlisted in, what we can get now and what we can have next month. The reason that I chimed in is because our culture is missing the pendulum that is swinging right now. There's a serious pendulum that is swinging right now, and we're actually missing it. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians, first and foremost, in order for us to be able to come together to realize what matters first. I like what Mr. Talon introduced me to when we did the Martin Luther King parade, and I recognize something, and I will applaud you right now with an audience that do that. You were the chief. You assign yourself as just a basic Indian. You wasn't looking to overthrow people with what you knew and how it should go. You were allowing people to expand their knowledge, if they had some or not, and the newness of me being a part of that production side, separate from, some of my writing credentials. It was beautiful to see that everybody that was involved who was working for one particular idea was able to get it done. So that's more or less when I speak of how purpose works, because in most scenarios, somebody wants to be the chief and they want to let you know they're the chief. They're going to speak loud. They're going to be very specific, and they may demonize or undermine someone in the group who's not following the orders correctly. You didn't do that. So let me use that as an example of what I was actually getting at, because see, the legacy in my proportion of what we are using the example for with Martin Luther King was, your legacy is to get this app moving right and get all the proper connections to it. So you want to see how everybody can perform in their natural state. That's what I observe.
Exactly.
The purpose is to make sure that the community can attach themselves to the historical points that have been provided by what Martin Luther King meant to us. So
exactly.
I would rather give an example that is more relevant to your knowledge that you can speak of and tie that in.
So that Martin Luther King's legacy is more important than Talon's legacy at that time.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna sacrifice myself and not be a boss and be a leader to make sure everybody stays focused on Dr. King.
Exactly.
I love it. The whole time I'm thinking, like, he has to look at this week's shows, because everything he's touching on, you've gone through and broke it down so it can forever be broken. Like, yeah.
Right. And like I said, one of the beauties was there was multiple legacies in that room from Mr.
Don't say no names.
Oh, okay. From the individual who put the organization together, the individual who assisted me when it was about writing the sound play for that particular day, the person that you brought in to do some of the sound play. So everybody played a part, and each individual has their own legacy in being a part of this. So that was fascinating, and I think that was to me was a pretty good example of what purpose looks like versus legacy. Now let's reverse it, and that was the conscious resolution to embedding them together. Now let's reverse it, and let's put a negative stimulus in there. And the leader would have been a little bit abusive, and we ran into small patches of miscommunication from the people who were videoing outside to the people who were doing the technology inside, and then the person in leadership may have walked in and made a few corrections, and then people who feel that their personality is big as a Nephilim from the Bible were not willing to adhere to those instructions. Boop, here goes conflict instantly. You know, so that's why I said, you know, the negative stimulus is something that we do negatively, looking for a positive return. And then a lot of times we have the ability to create this very high and very deep case of why this negative stimulus works. You know, living in the lifestyle of the pre-80s, walking into the 90s, you wasn't nobody unless you had some of that D money. We didn't have an understanding of LLCs and EINs or anything associated with the entrepreneurial state other than what the instant gratification provided us. So purpose didn't have no meaning. Legacy was only associated with what we had at the particular moment. So I like to be a part of these. You know, I'll be moving fast with some of the things I was doing. You came through, I heard some of the quality. So I said, just, you know, for a hot second before I make a move.
Well, can I respond now that I know how all this coordinated together and you brought it full circle? Can I respond to what you said if it's time? Because I want to just make sure before you leave that we can have a genuine conversation quickly. First and foremost, I'm Shay Rose. Nice to meet you. Secondly, I wanted to talk about the history, because that's what Black people's problem is in all of our communities as a culture. Knowing your history will help for you to understand how to move forward, how the legacy is supposed to work, right? So the first thing is my family, along with several other families from San Bernardino, brought the second largest Martin Luther King statue to San Bernardino. Every year for almost the last 45 years, we have every single year, rain, sleet, snow, planned the Martin Luther King breakfast. My mom has planned the Martin Luther King breakfast for almost 50 years. My mom personally. It's more than 1,000 people show up every year. It is what it is supposed to be in our community. It is the legacy. She inherited from another elder in our family, and she has made sure to be diligent about it being a beautiful event every year for Martin Luther King. So I that's the first thing. I want people to know, like, Black minds, Black history has been existing, and we've been able to collectively get majority of the shit that you see in San Bernardino done. During the same time that you're talking about, when we were in the AIDS epidemic, the prison epidemic, we were in the drug epidemic, but that what you experienced and what you saw and what some people gained wasn't the same. Even though we were all in the same city, wasn't the same experience that everybody had. It wasn't the same exposure that everybody had. And it's for us, like, knowing, having the family life building, like knowing that my church, my home church that my grandfather, that my godfather has pastored, has been in our community for 100+ years. And that me personally, wrote to keep that building that we owned, you know, as our family life center still there, because it had historic meaning to some of the amazing history of Black people in our community, like Francis Grice, like the NAACP chapter, like, you know, the First Baptist, you know, that's right across the way, which is the oldest church in the area, right? Like all of these different things, we were collectively banding together to, yes, start businesses. I am a very young business owner because of what those things that I mentioned to you, and that lineage from where I've come from those people who poured into me in the community. I've never had to work for anybody, ever, because of the things that my community exposed me to. They were teaching me. All of these scholars who had MBAs and things of that nature, who had went to all these prestigious colleges, they were teaching some of us the game. My brother went to Morehouse. My sister went to DePaul. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14 years old, thanks to my church, thanks to the community that came behind me, that allowed for me to never have to work for anybody. And I have lived an amazing life. So what you see, yes, I still was exposed to all the drama around me, and so were so many other families. But if your family has a purpose, they are going to do what is necessary and get you the exposure. That's why when I said what I said, it has to stem from someone having purpose, someone, a leader, knowing where we are going, having some direction, having some vision about what it is that the outcome should yield, right? And then what you are exposed to consistently does not determine, rather that is the decision that you're going to make, because we still have freedom of choice. Those things that you've been exposed to, I could have chose to be a chick who had multiple babies and didn't want nothing for myself. I had that choice because around me, there was so, especially even at 14, there were so many people having sex in these streets, getting it, you know what I'm saying? Especially when being out in the Dino, there wasn't much to do either. So it was easy. That's why they say the idle hands is the devil's workshop. You know what I'm saying? Because with that, you have conscious time to decide what you want to do. Do you want to spend it wisely, or do you want to spend it recklessly? I think a lot of times faces that look like ours have made the decisions that were easier for them, right? Not so much that was the best decision. And I think even those who got caught up in the dope game, and if you look at any of our segments, we've talked about, you know, the difference between surviving and living. Surviving is, go ahead, I'm listening.
Something transpired with what you just spoke of, and it's a very sensitive space. So one of the things that transpire is this very big elephant in the room. It's called impressionable stage. The impressionable stage has to be attached and led by someone who gives a certain amount of happiness to someone. So individuals who may have broken homes, individuals who may have a two-parent home, but there's a broken emotion inside of the home, will attach themselves to something that will allow them to be relevant and more susceptible to what the community was providing at that particular time. Then you have individuals such as yourself, and I know a few of them, who had more of an attachment to a leadership role that was more of a projected positive state down the road because people had goals planned out better than other people. The riddling process of what drugs did, not only to our community, but to our psyche, as you spoke of once before, is it aligned us with a certain form of self-gratification that didn't allow us to look past 30 days or to look past 6 months. It gave us the right now and the right now only. So,
but you're speaking as if that is a whole, that is the totality of us. That is not the totality of that experience for Black people. It could be the majority of what people were exposed to, but I cannot in good conscience, because I know my history. I know what was going on. I know how drugs came to be in our community, for the good, the bad, the ugly. So that is a debate that we can have whenever you want at another time. But in regards to staying on context, and I want to make sure that you understand that my perspective was not to be braggadocious. At no point.
No.
I just want to make sure, because when you share with some people, you get what I mean. I only went in to tell you that so I could give you context and give you history, right? Yeah. About it being, which was my major point on what questions you had asked, it being about perspective and choices. Because here's the thing, although there's so many families that you can name immediately were impacted by the dope game, I can say that mine wasn't. Well, from my daddy to my brothers to my, I'm giving you I'm giving you context to what you're saying, because when you're speaking as the Black culture, as though that is all that we have been exposed to, which is why consciously our resolution. Go ahead.
I gave you the difference of both. There's those who had a misconception of what positive reality looks like because of the riddling mindset and the riddling community that transpired. Then
but I don't think that's fair, because whether you came from everybody was impacted differently. Whether you came from crack did not just choose broken homes. There was broken homes before that. There was broken homes after that. Oh, there was a lot of homes that did stay together that they don't tell those stories about. There was a lot of movement with that money that they don't talk about. Go ahead, I'm listening.
But the impact was actually different, though. You have as an example. I think me and Talon spoke about this once before. You do have some individuals who took that money and did something with it, and still are doing something with it in a positive state.
Correct.
The process of what the United States did is they needed to stimulate their proportion of the income, and they did it once again, just like slavery. They did it on our backs. So,
but they didn't even stimulate it. You're talking about America as if America did this to stimulate our economy at home. Well,
no, they stimulated their economy on our backs, just like they did in slavery.
But they did not stimulate our economy. That money had nothing to do with America. They did not but that's, sir, what I'm trying to tell you is that's not factual history, though. With history, the reason why crack was dumped in our community by the DEA was because we were helping to finance someone else's war. It had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with It had nothing. All I'm trying to make sure is that we speak in fact, because.
So the fact you're talking about is the debilitating process that transpired in our community in relation to crack. I'm speaking of the economic boost that.
No, I'm talking about economically. I'm speaking on the same level you're speaking. I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm listening very intentfully because I enjoy these conversations. What I'm trying to make sure is to educate you on the fact that that was not what they did systematically to us. That makes it even sicker. I want you to understand that was not to then finance America in any way. They did that on Black people's bodies, on our communities, to finance a whole nother country's race and individual problems and governmental issues. It had nothing to do
so let me go ahead
with stimulating our economy.
Let me go ahead in this direction. So when did we come off the gold standard?
Let's see, from the Federal Reserve.
We came off the gold standard in 1974 with Nixon. Nixon took us off the gold
We can agree it is around before 1975. We can agree.
So within that process, what transpired with our economy is the dollar now changed its value. It went to fleet money. Once it went to fleet money, it changed its process. Our first enactment of a loan came from Richard Nixon dealing with the Asians. We didn't owe nobody coming out of the 60s. We didn't owe nobody no money. So how do we stimulate our economy, but also continuously upgrade our value of the dollar? Now, if you're an economist, it sounds like you have some knowledge about being an economist.
I do. I do. And I know
particular money has been fleet money so long that the transaction process is only based on barter and trade. The money itself doesn't have an existing value. So in order to stimulate our economy so that when we print money 20 to 30 years later, it has a transactional value, they had to employ a product that will make the barter and trade go through the roof. Cookies were not selling like that. Nikes, clothing, nothing was selling in a form that will stimulate the barter and trade in our country. But when they put crack cocaine here, that stimulated the barter and trade because we're on fleet money. So what I was trying to make sure
that's a great notion, but that's not fact. I just want to make sure.
If you look at
everything that you said in regards to the federal, but behind the stimulation of it was not the dope game. Is all I'm trying to make sure that I can tell. I can tell.
Significant part of stimulating our economy because we were on fleet money, where we're not backed by the gold standard anymore. The gold didn't give us the ability to barter and trade anymore. It was the transactional part, as if we were back in the 1500s, because the transactional stages was going on right now. That's what we're living in.
We'll for time purposes, I would love to have that debate with you. But I'm going to stand on, I hear what you're saying. You're very knowledgeable about the process. But I would just say that you should do more research behind what then we ended up stimulating our economy with. And it was not off of during the time that you're talking, when you're talking about from at least 1975 on through the Nixon era. If you go through, that was the drugs at the time was not the stimulant for us. I promise you. If you look at if you research that, we will have a great. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Because we were on fleet money, so they had to create something or bring something in, and there was a destroying of something, which was a community, which was ours, to be able to stimulate this part of the community. Now think about it. Those who grew up in that particular era, it's not about who lost and who won. It's really about what was the turnover. People bought more cars, people bought more groceries, people bought more clothes. We frivolously bought more gold and things that we actually don't have or that are stored in particular places. The transaction has transported into now most people spend their money abroad. We don't even know we're spending our money on the other side of a country that we don't even deal with personally. That was the transactional stage that was being stimulated that we are living in right now. That I give you an example. I bought a food truck from China $20,000 cheaper than buying it here in America. Why did I do that? Because the transactional stage says I need to buy somebody who can give it to me cheaper because our economy and the interest rates to the dollar is too high here. So I need to buy somewhere. So that's why I say the fleet from the 70s stimulated this transactional stage that led through our community to boost the economy only on barter and trade. You know, if I know, the dollar actually doesn't have value. It's the trade that's have value. That's why the tariffs are so serious, because they know that the trade has more value than the dollar itself.
You should really watch some of our content because we talk about a lot of this, and that's why I want to hear your perspective more than even sharing, because if you go back to a lot of our content, I cover a lot of this up to now and up to date so that people are very much aware. But before you have to go, I really want to make sure that you bring it full circle to the questions that you had been asking, and how what you're saying, just bringing your point home, how what you're saying equates to
home in a very simple form, extremely simple, and
which is going to be purpose and legacy, right? Because that's how you started this out. Okay, gotcha.
So in business, how do you fix a problem?
Oh, you're really asking me?
Yeah, well, just the panel. In business, because first and foremost, our purpose is a form of business and our legacy is a form of business. Our interaction as human is a form of business. We look at business as it always has to be the exchange of something monetary. No, business is what we're doing now. We're exchanging knowledge, which is wealth. That has its wealth in its own faction. So, how do you fix a problem? Because we know fixing the problem is the most essential quality in a business relationship with anything that you do. You fix the problem. I'll give you an example. The guy who made this little thing right here on the shoe, that little bitty piece of plastic right there is worth billions of dollars. We don't even know who made it, but it's worth billions of dollars because he fixed the problem. And that's where it goes through that little shoe hole. So in order for our purpose and our legacy to be of any significance for 50 years down the road, for the Rockefellers to the DuPonts, to the Pillsburys, we can speak of all these prominent families, the Rothschilds. They fixed a problem inside of their core culture. That culture is a family. So how do we fix a problem from business to identify our purpose and our legacy? That is taking it home.
So text that to me, and that's going to be the question of the day for tomorrow.
We're on that 10 tomorrow, so feel free to come back through.
Well, I'm gonna be happily. I was gonna say unfortunately, it would have been that wouldn't have been wrong. Happily, I might be on the water.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's
I might
cool.
be on
That's
the water.
cool.
But I do like to
But see if your cell phone gonna work on the water, because that's all you need.
Right. You know what I mean? So I do like topics of this nature. I believe what's missing and is to be able to advance not just the banter, but to advance the quality of a conversation. Most people don't want to advance. We were all right because we want something better, not just for us, but for the advancement of the humans that we deal with. See, I deal more or less with the breakdown real quickly of race is a social construction because it has nothing to do with pigmentation. That's just a figment of our imagination that has been implanted into our thoughts. The real, and I'm gonna drop one big word because I love them, because I think to enhance your vocabulary, it enhances your ability to utilize your pineal gland, which I know she understands that because she spoke of the psyche. So, and it's called pigmentocracy. Pigmentocracy is what we've been living in for the last 40 to 50 years, and they drill it on us. An individual just got shot in the neck a few days ago, and they swore up and down that it was a different culture, but actually pigmentocracy said you do your own before you do someone else, and that's exactly what happened, unfortunately. And the human lost his life. So pigmentocracy.
All right, well, we only got time for final comments right now. So what's your final comment on everything that went on?
It was nice. I enjoy having those conversations with you, Mr. T, and Miss Shay Rose.
Miss Shay Rose, Miss
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Being able to bring more people into these particular conversations, you always have to have a yin and a yang. It won't expand if you don't have a yin and a yang. In order for something to grow, especially in the commentary world, has to be some controversy.
Yeah,
we didn't create it. We're just looking at it. Controversy makes, I make more money than anything. So if you guys want to stimulate, I assist to be, I don't got a problem being a bad guy in conversation because I can defend myself without emotional aggression, and it's hard for some people to do so.
That's right. So text me the question, and then we'll wait for you to come back on to say
that again.
So text me that question. How do you solve the problem? Or
yes,
and then we'll wait until you're available to come back,
right?
To address that.
Well, I was nice and light today. I will be more stern and structured next time.
Okay, for sure. Just know that you're always welcome.
Oh man, you already know what it is, man. And we got to tap bases. I do have something on the table for you. How did Dickie's thing work out?
Oh, it's cool.
It's cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, but I do got something else for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen you up there.
Oh man, I'm moving. I'm moving mentally. There's some other things going on, but I do want to touch bases with you because I do need some. I need some of your camera life. So,
okay.
All right.
For sure. You have a blessed day, man.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm gonna text you that question, and y'all have a beautiful evening. And I do have one quick question.
Okay.
You can answer it or just take it. Are you African American or are you American of African descent? Which one are you?
I say I'm an American of African descent. That's what I would say.
Miss
I would say I'm a Black woman, indigenous woman.
We'll discuss that later.
Okay.
Very deep.
All right.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, for sure.
All right, big dog.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Mrs. Wright, final comment.
My final comment is I enjoy always being able to get diverse perspectives. I am a person who, when I speak on something, I am very passionate about. or that I am very much so aware of, I'm always going to make sure that I back it up with historical facts. And so I would just want to make sure that in any debates, it's not, because I think that that's the biggest problem with our culture as a whole, is that we focus a lot on the things that we believe, not necessarily the factual truths of what happened, right? And the more that we know, the more that it allows for us to see how we can bring resolution to problems. Rather they be business, rather they be personal, rather they be about our community, or rather they be about the corporations that we work at, right? It's important that we go into having these in-depth conversations based on not hypothetical information, not based on, even information that has been legendary, or that's been passed down, because it not always doesn't have any factual base to it. Now, what I can appreciate is when people do give their opinions and they state that they, would want to know more. I think the dopest thing you can do is learn something new, right? Mm-hmm. That's like the coolest thing ever. So hearing different perspectives, hearing what how people really feel as a culture, I think is great. I also though want us as Black people, and this is for real why I waited for my final word. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to debate when I know what I know. I'm never going to debate with somebody whose sole intention is debate. My sole intention is not to debate with somebody. My sole intention is to educate, right? Mm-hmm. That's right. As a leader, I'll correct you as a leader, like we talked about, just bringing all that stuff back. But that's not my sole purpose, right? I reserve that for being a boss. But I want our community to understand that we as a people don't all think alike, don't all see shit the same. And I think until we start basing what we're talking about on facts, we're never going to know where we're going. Exactly. Because it really requires for us to historically know where we've been so that we can get the perspective collectively of where we're going to go. So many people have this notion, and it's no better to me than white people or other nationalities on what a Black race experience has been, and just downboarding it. That's why I needed him to understand that's not that's not everybody's experience. Even during those epidemics, that is not everybody's experience. And we as Black people have to start taking accountability for the shit that we don't know and make ourselves knowledgeable, and taking accountability for being on, okay, what's next and why we haven't collectively come. It's so many. He said something that we had already talked about early in the week. There is so many chiefs and not enough Indians. There's so many people running around because they found bits of knowledge here and fucking there that now they believe that they understand the subject matter. No, sir. I'm gonna need you to be very prepared, because you coming on here talking about you because I'll be a bad guy and shit like that. That's not the type of energy we on. I'm not trying to debate and be like, you're trying to be on the opposite. I don't know. No, as we showcased yesterday and all throughout this week, it could be the same thing that we're talking about, and we can share a difference of perspective. But when you start, I need people to hear me because my show's coming soon, right? So we'll announce that when you start to have real conversation about our culture, really have done your fucking homework. Because what we can't do is keep making decisions out of an emotional state and out of falsehoods, right? With alternative facts. We can't keep doing that and then get mad at other cultures for exploiting that. We don't know where we come from and where we're going, because we don't have enough time to really have conversations with each other about real shit. Instead, we spend time talking about each other and then talking at each other. And I don't wish to be talked at. especially when it don't, I don't have time for that shit, especially when it doesn't resonate with how are we collectively moving. I think there's so many times that we've had so many conversations, friend, about how Black people gonna do this and Black people gonna do that. Even when he was describing, because I know the story of what happened with the parade, because we didn't need to say no names because your girl already knows, right? And so that's why I wanted him to understand, like, you seen that perspective, and now a person would take that perspective and be like, and that's why we can't do nothing together, and that's why I had to share. No, sir. Because it can be done at a quality level collectively for years.
Yeah.
Right? Consistently. Because that's what his conversation was about. Purpose, legacy, consistency, observation. I mean, your girl was paying attention because I was really like, oh, you know how I be about the question. I was like, oh, this about to get good. But I can be honest in saying I was a little lost at the end in regards to, you know, where we were going in regards genuinely to like overall consciousness. Because I think that consciousness starts with knowing and having understanding about reality. That's conscious, right? If we looked it up, that's what conscious would mean. So, ladies and gentlemen, please just be focused on making sure that you see the best in our culture too. We keep working from all the horrible shit that's happened to us, but we don't talk enough about all of the beautiful contributions that Black people have given to America, that we have given to our culture, that we've given to other people's culture. Look at the Japanese culture right now. Like, oh my God. So let's start focusing on the positives, because the positives and those stimulus are going to be the things that help for us to find conscious resolution on creating a positive legacy for our culture with purpose, right? Let's be purposeful about that. That's what your girl has to say about that.
So, all of this was in line with the question of the day, but
it's our question of the day.
But we'll just go over it, and then we'll do the question of the day tomorrow.
All right, deal.
But the question of the day was, how do you get a person to listen, to understand, and not just respond?
Well, you better end it on that note, because you know that's exactly how I felt. Like, I'm not going to listen just to respond. And I think that's the important part. If you already have your perspective made up and you're not really entering a conversation to communicate and to hear that person and to understand what that person is saying, then we're just talking at each other. And you just listen to be able to get your perspective off. I'm straight on that. I love our conversation. We talks. You know,
we only have 5 things. 1, make an appointment. You know, timing is important. You know, we need to set aside 2 hours. You got 20 minutes. You got 10 minutes. You got 5. Set aside some time. Know what I'm saying? So you can get what you need to get out. They can get what they need to get out. Number 2 is something that you have facts.
See, because we be in alignment. You gotta have facts. I can't do shit without facts. Like, at that point, I'd be like, oh man, there is nothing worse to me than somebody who is speaking speaking about some intellectual shit, and it'd be like, what? But that is not okay. I see where you go. I see where I could see how that could work. Even, you know what I mean? But my nigga, that's not fact. So still. It doesn't mean it can't become facts, though, friend. It just means that's not factual history, though. You know. Anyways, I digress.
Don't interrupt the other person.
After so long of me being talked at, I have to interject. I can't, because we have other people too watching. I have to at least be like, okay, hold on, we're on a roll, buddies. But so, you know.
Take notes if possible. Number 4.
That's the homie.
And number 5. Offer a solution. And ask other person of his or her solution. So we'll go over those things tomorrow. But
I love it. It did align with today, though. And it got us some entertainment. I'm so happy he was watching. I appreciate you. Success and peace and blessings to that man. But make sure you be on them facts, Boo Boo Kenny, because they don't play.
And the thing is, let me get this off the screen. For the public, and I've shared this when I first started the network and everything. I don't do this for money, you know. Like whether it make a lot of money or whether it make no money, I don't. This is just what I'm gonna do because this is what I want to do. So we not here to, oh yeah, we want to do this. We want it to blow up. Like if it blow up, cool. If it don't blow up, cool. This is my alarm clock. This is my alarm clock to wake up at 10. This is my alarm clock to start going to bed at 10.
Well, this my place a little. This adding to my space of peace. Now I come over here, I'll be excited. You know me, I'll be like, what we finna talk about? Especially since we done got on to the questions. I'm like, what is we finna talk about? So that's why I'm like, I want to make sure if you coming on. Here's the thing, I love just surprise guests because you go let them do what they do, and I follow your leadership and be like, okay, Tracy, that's good. Like,
you know, you gonna do what you do too. Like
I know, but I'm saying, like, I love that about you, that you authentically let people come on, give whatever they gonna give, and then we get back to like, you know, the resolution. Like even now, what our final words? Like that's the resolution for us. We was on point today. We got to have some good moments with somebody who's a viewer. And this is necessary conversation. I will agree with him on that. This is necessary conversation, which is why you do it, you know, and I appreciate you for it.
At some points, we have to agree to disagree, but at the same time, be looking for a solution or a resolution to whatever it is that we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, friend. Well, it was an amazing day with you as always.
Amazing. Yeah, feel free to give me a call or I'll see you back at 10.
For sure, you already know.
See y'all at 10.
Happy Friday.
Happy
Southern Boy Certified.
I don't really understand why they do this to me. Talon and Roman, don't say nothing at all. 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 I'm hearing whispers on the street about some things that I really can't believe. People talking, spreading lies over me. I don't know why they coming for me. They say I did things that I never done. No. They say that I'm guilty, but I'm not some fun. No.
Liar, liar, liar. Pants on fire. I heard rumors around town. People talking and spreading lies. Can't trust nobody who don't have a purpose.